I was nervous about my feet being in the...
So I wore socks today.
I always wear socks.
Do you?
Yeah, I literally always wear socks.
I never noticed that till now.
Well, at least you know I wasn't looking, staring at your feet, trying to stare. Yeah, trying
What's
to...
up with you on feet?
No, because like everyone says not to show your feet, so we really look like we're in therapy. You can pass me the the pearl.
Mine.
You can pass me the pearl when you're done talking.
No! Get your own pearl. It's my dumpling bun.
We're gonna do the intro right this time.
Recording in progress.
Welcome!
Is that you starting?
Yeah!
Oh, shit.
Oh, did we not start? Wait, okay. Welcome to the Energy and Heart Podcast.
Whoa.
Wow, that was really fast. I think that's a record for how fast we've said it.
I don't like it, so let's do it over. Welcome
To
the Energy and Heart Podcast. Hosted by...
Oh shit, the one and only Jiggy
and Steph.
It is now September.
Bitch! Guess what this week is? By the time you watch this, we're gonna be at the airport.
Oh shit, yeah.
Going to
Tell them
see
all.
Kaylani.
I feel like she's been living for this moment her entire
It
life.
will be the greatest moment of my life. The greatest.
I can't wait to capture you in your greatest moments.
You're about to witness the best day of my entire life. Like whatever future best days are ahead of me in my life, like this will be the monumental moment. It might be bigger than like my own wedding one day.
Really? It's that big?
It is gigantic.
That's what she said.
Wow.
It is
Okay.
literally enormous.
That's what she said.
That's my joke.
What are you most looking forward to?
Seeing her.
Oh, just seeing her like come onto the stage.
Just looking at her the whole time. I'm trying
totally
to bring like a gallon jug of water when we stand in line because motherfuckers be passing out.
Are you serious? Wait, is it outside?
No, but
The
people
waits.
are waiting in line since 8 a.m. until doors open. So people have been passing out due to dehydration and not eating. I've thought this through.
That's
I'm
really
bringing like
intense.
liquid IV and like Cliff bars and like glucose.
Okay, you make sure
Shit.
we're alive.
I don't know how willing the rest of the group is as to how long we're willing to wait in line.
Okay, I have an idea.
Okay.
Can we do shifts?
We could possibly do shifts.
Because I thought about it too, and I was talking to Kato
a
about
team
it.
meeting. Not me thinking like how I'm gonna take care of everybody in line. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bring water for everybody in line and like make sure that everybody's eating.
Classic you.
Yeah. I've already thought it through. Like if somebody passes out, like how Terrence and I are gonna carry them out the crowd.
Oh my god!
No, because the Dallas show just recently over the weekend,
I saw
a
that.
video where the medic was nowhere around.
Yeah.
And Kaylani was like, does anybody have sugar? And I was like, not playing games.
You're gonna be ready.
You can't rely on the medic to save your life. Sorry, but that's just the
No.
truth.
Oh no.
I'm not even sorry, that's just the truth.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Well, I'm excited. So before I said it was September, so I think we're entering fall, right?
yes, bitch. We are
Is it
entering fall, and she was making fun of me for getting I went to the grocery store yesterday and I got my first pumpkin spice creamer of the season, and she over here calling me a basic bitch. But you know what? I come from a place where like I said that I'm excited to see the trees change colors, and she's
they
like,
don't.
no, in California they don't change colors. The leaves just fall, and that's about it.
They turn brown, like literally. That's all you're.
Brown from like
That's all you're.
burning and dehydration, not like
That's all you're
changing colors from beautiful fall. I'm a fall bitch, so
What is
you
it?
know my birthday's in a month.
I know that.
What an exciting podcast! There's just so much to celebrate.
What is
Kaylani, my birthday coming up. No pressure.
Thanksgiving, Christmas.
That has nothing to do with my birthday right now. We're not in Thanksgiving.
That'll come soon.
We're not talking about a bunch of white people coming to a new country and then claiming it. We're not talking about that right now.
I'm not gonna lie, when you said fall bitch, I thought of like basic white girl in cowboy boots in like the East.
Cowboy boots?
Yeah,
Wow, I was thinking like boots.
blonde hair and like a...
You're describing my college experience right now.
No, there's a specific picture that I'm thinking of. It's like Christian girl fall. I saw a meme on it.
What? A nice Christian girl from Christian Mingle.
So today's topic... Well, actually, I wanted to ask you because right before we started the podcast, you were saying that you sent a letter to your therapist.
Yes.
Do you want to
Should we just start talking about that?
Yes, we should.
So something that we're gonna... Okay, this is how the episode starts. Ready? Go. So something that we're gonna talk about today is including like boundaries and communication with therapists. You know, I think that therapists aren't, you know, I see them as humans. They're not perfect. They're not like saviors at the end of the day. They are human. And I think that a part of the therapy experience... I'm just swinging my legs right now.
I know, I've never seen you like, do that before. With your little pearl. Like,
I'm just like in it today. I'm just in it.
Today.
Be cozy today. So yeah, so I think that it's important to communicate with the therapist to have like a maximum experience, but at the same time, like not to a point of holding their hand, because at the end of the day, they're therapists and they should know things ahead of time. I think I've gone through, I'll just tell the story. I've gone through 2 or 3 different therapists before I found this one that I have now. And the reason why I went through those therapists and like left and looked for a new therapist is because they had this pattern of interrupting me while I'm sharing my story. And they would interrupt me to basically tell me something that I already know, aka like a solution or looking at things at a different angle. So basically, if I were to be like, oh, this and this happened, this is how I initially felt about it, but then they would cut in and be like, but Jiggy, but you shouldn't feel that way, you should feel this way, da 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 da. And when I use language like, well, this is how I initially felt, they should understand that, okay, this is how you initially felt, therefore you probably have another story to tell. But they would like assume that how I initially felt is how I totally feel. Therefore, they just like cut in and be like, if I were to feel guilt or shame, they would be like, but Jiggy, no, you don't have to feel guilty or shameful, da da da, but what about this angle? And I would be like, that's literally where I was going with my story. And so I hate being told what I already know, because I'm already a very self-reflective person. Like as soon as an experience happened, I probably already thought through it like 2 or 3 times. By the time I arrived to the therapy session, I'm probably telling them like a conclusion. You know, I like debrief by myself and I probably come to a conclusion. If they can inspire me for further reflection, they can do that. But I hate being told what I already know. So that's why I went through like the first 2 therapists. I found this therapist I have now who has been extremely wonderful. When we first started working together was last year, like end of last year, when I was at the not even like a beginning stage of my breakup, but I needed her to tell me that I needed to break up. And so I entered the first therapy session in this relationship that was draining me. It was just beyond... I am not talking shit about my ex or that experience, but I'm just saying that it was a toxic experience. And at that time, I needed her to cut in. I needed her to interrupt me. She would take no shit. Like, by the first session, she already knew, like, that we were supposed to break up. Within the first session, she was like, all right, Jiggy, so I'm already considering you 2 broken up, so what are we gonna do now? Like, how are we moving out? Like, what are the steps? If it wasn't for her, it's very possible I would still be in the relationship, because I was looking for excuses to stay in the relationship, no matter how toxic and bad for me it was. Since then, a lot of what we've been talking about is the breakup and moving forward and things like that. And then my dad passed away. When my dad passed away, the first time I went to Korea, it just happened so quickly that I didn't even have the time to explain to her. I didn't message her until I was already in Korea. And I said, hi, therapist, my dad passed away. That's all I said. And she said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that, Jiggy. And that's all she said. And I was like, my therapist knows me so well because like at this moment, I don't need much sympathy. Like she knows me. It's very straightforward. That's all I needed. That was perfect. When I came back from Korea, I hadn't spoken to her for like a month because I couldn't process in therapy while I was already processing so much in Korea. So I waited until I came back from Korea to have a therapy session. In that moment, I knew that while our style of therapy sessions have been very straightforward, very solution oriented, in this moment, she was super compassionate, very gentle, just held space for me, didn't rush me, didn't interrupt. It was wonderful. I had to go back to Korea recently. The other day, we had our first therapy session in like 2 months. I thought the same would happen. I thought she would hold space for me. I thought that she would be gentle with me. You know, I'm still grieving. And so I thought it would be like that. But I went into the therapy session not knowing what I wanted to talk about, which I usually know what I want to talk about. But this time I didn't. So I just picked a topic and I went with it. I was telling her a story about something that happened in Korea. It was a pretty deep story. I cried like 3 times throughout the therapy session. But she kept interrupting me. And I had a lot to process. And so like I was telling a story and I said like this is how I felt about it initially. But then she would like butt in and be like, but Jiggy, da 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 da, da 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 da. And I'm like, I said initially. Like I said, a part of me feels this way, which means there's another part of me that feels a different way. But before I could explain how I felt the other way and my final conclusion, she butted in to get to that conclusion right away. And she did it like throughout the entire session. I couldn't like feel what I wanted to feel. I couldn't tell the story at the pace that I wanted to tell it because I felt as though I felt rushed at this point because she kept interrupting me. And I wanted to finish my story without being interrupted. She did this like 3-4 times, and at one point it was pissing me off so badly that I just wanted to like literally just like exit the call. I was like so pissed. You know, that was my first therapy session in like 2 months, and I just like didn't feel at peace. I didn't feel rested. I didn't feel calm. I was actually restless and I was pissed. I usually have a debrief with Steph after the therapy session, and I was telling her, I was like, I just don't feel supported at all by that session. Now the reflection became like, what am I trying to get out of therapy right now? Now that, you know, the most important project has happened. The most important mission is complete. The breakup. Now what is my intention with therapy? Because everything kept moving so fast with my dad passing away, and like I haven't had the time to just sit and think like, what is the support that I'm needing right now from therapy? And I'm thinking about these things not just because of therapy standpoint, but because like I'm paying for this. So I want something out of it. So then I wrote a letter to my therapist, because in the past I would just leave the therapist. I didn't care. But this therapist I love. So I wanted to just kind of at least try and communicate. So I wrote her a letter and I said, I was reflecting on the therapy session that we had on Saturday. I've concluded that it just did not, I wasn't supported, I didn't feel supported the way that I needed to be supported. In the past, when we first started, I needed you to just cut the bullshit for me, be solution oriented. But right now, I think what I need is to be a space that's held for me with gentleness and a lot of compassion, and just like let me finish my story without interruption, and let me feel what I feel. And if I'm open to feedback, I'll let you know. And I said, is this something that you think that you can support me with? So I basically like communicated my needs and boundaries.
Man, that was a fire letter.
So that you too can send a letter to your therapist. Being direct and kind.
And ask for what you need.
RBTL. Ta-da! Anyways, so but I wrote the letter also because I've experienced it from her before. Like, I know she's capable of it. Otherwise, because I only have so much bandwidth right now, otherwise I don't know if I would have bothered to write her that letter. But I just love my therapist so much, and I didn't want to break up. And we've talked about it, that like it sucks to have to do this. Like sometimes I wish a therapist, not just anybody, but like a therapist was just like no without me having to explain. I feel like I wish for therapy sessions to be one place where I don't have to explain myself to get what I need. I just kind of wish she would already know. But unfortunately, it is not like that, and therefore I had to communicate it, which I'm glad I did, and we'll see how it goes. That's what happened. I wrote the letter. She said that she believes that she can do that for me, and so we'll see how it goes. But that's just me going back to, like, therapists are humans too, and they can't, like, read my mind. Something that I do with therapy is that, like, I prepare myself for therapy, and I always know what I want to talk about. And we were talking about it that, like, man, it would be just so much easier if we just could just, like, if I could just show up as I am, where I'm at right now. I don't have to have everything figured out, because the therapist should be guiding the conversation, should be facilitating the conversation. I should just be able to just openly just talk like this and feel at ease. I'm, like, really calm right now without anybody rushing me, or there's no pressure. But sometimes I feel like there's pressure to try to figure things out in one therapy session, which it doesn't always have to be that way. It's really nice to have this here. I think I want to have this here moving forward. So that's what happened.
You can have that moving forward. You can also have Noah as well, which I think will be back in 2 episodes. Yeah, I think I heard, like, thanks for sharing that, because I feel like your experience, like my experience with therapy and your experience with therapy is, like, vastly, like, different. So for me, it's, like, interesting to hear your experience. I think what I love about what's happening right now, like, what I hear is that your therapist was super good at, like, keeping you accountable at the beginning of, like, your journey with her, which is exactly what you needed at the time. Like, you need support to just be like, I gotta stay eyes on the prize, like, gotta move through, like, a specific direction, right? But then now I feel like things have changed and, like, things have evolved, and I feel like for a lot of people it gets really confusing at this point, because, like, there's a difference between the way who you are as a person when you showed up initially versus, like, now. And so I think what I hear is, like, it's kind of like a transition, like, period for you. I think you took a couple, like, weeks off too, right? Like, before going back to therapy, right?
Yeah,
like,
I needed time to I'm still processing so much, and I don't think, like, therapy has to be a place where it has to be like, okay, one topic, okay, found a solution, what's next, what's the next topic? Like, I think that I need to look at therapy as a place of, like, I can revisit or continue on with the story, or how it's progressing. I'm such a, like, when it comes to finding solutions or development or healing, anything like that, there are a lot of times where I want to get there quickly. Like, I want to get to the solution very quickly. I want to heal quickly. I want to just, like, get over it and move on quickly. And so, like, that's why I preach self-compassion, because when I'm talking to y'all, I'm actually talking to me. And I need, like, friends to also be gentle with me and remind me of those things too. It's just that I believe it's very important, and that's why I talk about it, because I know that it's not just me. I love that my therapist has so much fire. Like, she's such a badass, and I think that in the beginning when we started working together, her fire was like a freaking, like, inferno, and that's what I needed. But, man, she's such a gangster. Like, we even sang, like, 50 Cent together. Oh my gosh, she's so dope. Oh my god, I love her so much. But like, man, she was, like, ready to throw hands when I was going through my breakup. Man, every time I would tell her a story about something that happened, she would be like, ooh, Jiggy, ooh, don't tell me that, ooh. She would be like, my hands are getting itchy. But yeah, she was like an inferno then. But I think what I need right now is more like a campfire almost, or like a nice fireplace where we can cozy around, not like an inferno rise, but like a gentle fire. That's what I need right now. So yeah, she's dope. I hope it works out because I love her. And the reason also why I wrote the letter is because when we first started working together, she like listed some of her boundaries with her clients. For example, like you can't record the session and like post it somewhere. You can't share that with the world. So one of her boundaries was that once you stop working with her, it's for indefinitely. And so I didn't want to risk that because one, I'm a Libra and I don't like to say goodbye. But two, it's like if I discontinue, it'll probably be indefinitely. And so I just wanted to try first. That's why I wrote the letter.
Yeah. I love that how you're approaching this is not binary, right? Like most people, me. I'm not gonna say most people. For me, it's just like I'm pissed at my therapist. I'm just like, that's it. I'm like, done. You know, I'm over it. And so like I appreciate this point of view because it's like, how can I ask for what I need? Like, how can I develop more of a long-term relationship with this person that like I have a lot of respect for? I have obviously gotten a lot from. Like, I really see you seeing like all sides of this and like really giving this person like a chance to support you. And I feel like that was important to highlight because you can get carried away with your emotions and like not want to continue, which is like my experience with like what's like happened before. So I just wanted to like highlight that for people too. Like I think sometimes it's like you said, like therapists are human, it's not perfect. Like how can you make this work is a common, I feel like an important question to like ask too, because not everyone has the access, right, to like change therapists or like, it's a process to like move around.
And if you're watching this and if you're on a boat where you are thinking about like changing therapists, I think there's two sides. Like one is that you can write a letter to your therapist too, and communicate your needs and see how that goes. And if they still can't really meet you where you are, I think it's okay to move on. And I know that a lot of people can feel overwhelmed by the thought of changing therapists because it's like literally so exhausting to explain what you're going through, looking for a new therapist. Are they landing? If not, gotta look for a new one. If not, gotta look for a new one. And one of the advice that I was given by a friend was to just like have a doc in your computer that kind of like shares your whole story and then just like share that with a new therapist so that you don't have to use your bandwidth over and over again to tell your story. Like the basic whatever, like a timeline basically. And also recognizing like when picking therapists, we go through different seasons and every therapist is like has their own specialty fields. Like, for example, I look for somebody who's extremely experienced in grieving. But now lately also, like, the Asian immigrant experience. That's also very real.
I think bringing it back to, like, what you were saying earlier, you're commenting, like, holding your therapist's, like, hands. And so I think what I got from what you're saying is that you holding a therapist's hand is kind of like referring to like going in and having like a specific idea of where you want to go, right? But then I see you now kind of shifting more towards like, oh, how can I show up just like as you are?
Yeah. And I think like we talked about this too, that like we're such facilitators that we keep track of the time of the therapy session.
Oh yeah.
And sure, that could be out of habit. Like, sure, whatever. That's just our nature. Like, we like to be on time or whatever. But that shouldn't be our job. And I would like to show up as me. And granted, again, like, that's not all my therapist. More so, it was my choice to show up to every therapy session knowing what I want to talk about. Like, I used to show up as, like, this is what I want to talk about today. This is how it can be supported. And this is how I'd like to be led, and then I would like always keep track of time. But I would love to get to a point where I can just like show up and see what comes to my heart and just talk.
Yeah. I think the hyper vigilance or the hyper like awareness, I feel like comes from, at least for me, I want to say this and you tell me like how it lands for you, but I feel like you've had to be so responsible for so much in your life. I feel like that's like a natural thing for you to just like come in prepared. Like you dude, this is so crazy because you're talking about Kehlani and like coming in prepared, like preparing for everybody. I was just like, dude, this is not just therapy. This is like just like a part of like how you function. But I feel like that comes from just like feeling a lot of responsibility in your life from a very young age to like take care of like things. And I think like my hope for you is that like you're able to move to a place where like you can fully trust in certain spaces to like show up as you are.
Yeah. My nature definitely is savior vibes, and I know I talked about that like in the relationship episode,
Yeah.
but I got like savior vibes. I think forward for like 3 steps ahead for everybody, because I was thinking about that this morning, that like I'm really good at life, and what I mean by that is like, you know, I might not be the greatest like businesswoman in the world, but when it comes to survival of life, I'm really fucking good at that. There's a fire, I'm probably gonna get everybody out. Or when a friend was like in between houses, new in LA, and had no place to go, I was just like, just stay in my place and we'll figure it out from there, because I know what it's like to not have a home. It's literally so freaking exhausting. And so I think like when it comes to survival of life, I'm really good at that. Good thing I'm a motivational speaker, because like,
dude, seriously, I was just gonna say.
Good thing that I tell people how to get through life, because like I might not be a great CPA or anything, but I can tell you how to get through life and how to have hope.
I feel like you're so thoughtful. I feel like, man, I think about how like when people get faced with like really hard situations, I feel like you got like people can turn out one of 2 ways, right? And I think it's very justified and valid to like be angry and want to hurt like the world because of like what has happened to you, if that makes sense. But I think what I consistently see from you is like you transforming a lot of that pain into something that is very thoughtful for other people, you know?
Yeah, because Christianity says that, you know, you
Tell
go
us.
through the pain and is all for a reason, and that it's like correlated with your purpose. And so prayers always be like, this is happening for a reason, so whatever it manifests as. I look at my pain as like, I've always thought that I'm somebody who has to go through something first in order to serve somebody else. Like when my mom passed away, I didn't know anybody whose parents passed away, so I kind of like went through that alone. And surely enough, like a few months later, a friend's mom passed away. A few months after that, one of my best friend's mom passes away. And it seems as though things I go through is because I'm supposed to lead the way or guide the way or protect people, or like even moving across the country, like I've done that. And so then when the friend was like, tell me everything I need to know about like making this big move from Seattle to LA, I'm like,
friend meeting.
oh yeah, I can just say it.
It's like names all the time.
Yeah, it was like, I was like, dude, you can only literally plan so much, but there are times in life where it's just you and God. Like there are times in life where you can try to plan everything out and God's just laughing. And you just gotta trust. And I'm laughing because here's like, nothing's going my way. And I'm like, I looked at, that was one of the most interesting conversations I've ever had, because she had all these plans and I was like, do things usually always go your way? She's like, yeah, because I plan everything out and usually I do it all on my own. And I was like, what is it like for for your life to always go your way? And I said that I think you go through life, and I think that one of the magics of life is like the relationship with God or relationship with the universe, knowing that you're protected and you're guided. And so even when, I think the magic of life can be that even when things don't go your way or the way that you planned, it's the fact that you still end up okay no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Or the situation could be even better than what you had imagined.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is like such a magic of life and this relationship that we have with like God or the universe or whatever you believe in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a lot as humans. I feel like we try to control a lot. Ding ding ding. Me. I get the Academy Award for that. So I really try to control everything, and so yeah, I hear what you're saying is like having trust, right, and like things working out. I also hear, because I chatted with about that and how like you know, we talked about putting in a tall order. Like she put in a tall order when she was like moving down to SoCal. It was like, I want to find the right freaking roommate, the right place near my studio. Like, I want this to happen. I want this to happen. So we're talking about how like it didn't necessarily go her way, or like you can't really plan it because you put in a huge order, and that's why it's taking it longer than like you expect, right? Like you expect to come down, like just kind of figure it out like right away, and then you realize like, oh. And then now she's like at the perfect place, perfect roommate, perfect everything that she like.
Perfect neighborhood.
Yeah.
What the fuck were you thinking,
like,
Eagle Rock? Are you serious? When we live in K-Town? Get out
like
of
7
here.
minutes away now, and like I just think about how like so much of like what we want we try to control, and ultimately there's no control. And I'm only saying that because I need to hear that right now.
I think this podcast is going a whole different direction than I thought. But I think there's like a fine balance of life. And by balance, I said it the last episode too, but like balance doesn't have to mean equal. It just looks differently for everybody. But in life, I think there's a fine balance of, for example, like manifesting. Like exactly what you want. Like you put in the tall order and you tell God, you tell the universe, this is what I want and I'm going to manifest it. And then also leaning into the trust that if it doesn't go exactly that way, it might look differently. Mm-hmm. And there's got to be, like we've talked about it before with like the goal and the vehicle there. It's like the vision, that the desires of life that we might have, and the vehicle there too. To put in a tall order with things not, I don't judge her for doing that. Like, I think we can all have ideas of this ideal life that we want, because like you moved to a brand new place, you better go there with hopes and dreams. Like yeah, I moved across the country Cali dreaming. Like I wanted certain things, yeah, but I've also found out that God has other plans and I have to be okay with it. And like,
is there something else you want to share right now?
I'm saying that, like, I think that I'm such a both and all person, but like,
yeah,
striving not to be, I mean, I think it's okay to be disappointed too, and I think it's okay to be discouraged too if things don't go the way that we would want it to, but also just like using that as an opportunity to trust that it'll turn out even more wonderful than we thought. Mm-hmm. I really be on my God shit lately, and that's why I keep talking about like God. But there's this like cartoon on social media where it's like a little girl and Jesus, and the little girl has her little teddy bear, and she like loves the teddy bear, and Jesus is like holding out his hand like this, and the little girl's like, but I don't want to give it to you because I love this teddy bear. But then like on the other hand, Jesus is holding like a big ass teddy bear. And he's like, yo, you just gotta trust me. Like, what I have for you behind my back, it's a good one. And she's over here like, but I love my little teddy bear. But you can have a bigger teddy bear. How the fuck did we end up talking about this? This got real deep. Like,
I feel like
recording?
your check. like halfway. Yeah, how did we... Okay, we're talking about therapists and figuring out... Or your standards for, like...
Oh, okay,
finding a
so let's
person.
talk about therapy again. So going back to therapy and me being like so ahead of steps ahead and like thinking things. I think also because in RBTL we're like so first and foremost is like setting the intention. Like what is the intention of me sharing? What is the intention of the question? What is the intention of blah blah blah? And I think that intention is actually really important, and I think the reason why I got into the habit of setting intentions for therapy is because I want to get the most out of it. And so I want to get exactly what I want and need, and this is exactly the compassion that I'm looking for. And so I think also because I know that my therapist has the habit of like challenging me, and it like usually pisses me off more than it lands really well, and so I want to say it so that she remembers like that's what I'm needing. So again, if we were to talk about balance, like the balance of going in with the intention, I think is okay. And I think that setting your boundaries and like sharing your needs is okay. And also being open to just showing up as how I am in that moment and just let the conversation flow.
It reminds me of how we do this podcast.
Yes,
Right?
and the other
It's-
point that I wanted to make was that, like, when I said sometimes I wish that my therapist would just, like, know what I need, even whether or not I set the intention, I think that through RBTL, you don't just learn how to communicate as a storyteller, but you also learn how to communicate as a listener. And even if the other person didn't set the intention, we I don't want to say like we're taught to or we're trained to, but we know to look for the intention. So if the other person's intention isn't clear or if it's not communicated, we either ask or we mirror them and say like what I'm hearing is, or we just ask a question. I would love for my therapist, if she's not clear on my intentions, to just like ask me what I'm needing versus budging in and interrupting me and be very solution oriented, like assuming that that's what I want.
Yeah.
I wish my therapist took RBTL.
Yeah. So much to say about that.
Yes. Are you open to sharing about your therapist?
Yeah, I can share. Thanks for asking. Yeah, so, how do I say this? I've had...
You ain't gotta be nice, she's not listening.
she definitely is not. She doesn't know this podcast exists. I feel bad. I don't want to badmouth my therapist, but I think I've had experience with 3 of them. So like my first therapist actually wasn't the one that I really loved. My first one actually was super solution oriented. This person was giving me business advice during the call. And I was like, that's not what I asked for. Like, that's not why I'm here. Like, because I was going through my transition out of my first venture, and then she was just like, oh, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. And I was like, I did not come here to ask you for this thing. But I didn't know at the time how to, like, say, like, what I needed, set an intention. Like, that was my first time, like, going to therapy sessions.
But Steph, you gotta grind 24/7. Every conversation, even therapy, has to be about business.
Yeah, it was so... I was just like, dude, did you just spend an extra 10 minutes trying to give me, like went overtime to, like, give me business advice? I was like, I'm not down for this, so I left
Triggering.
that. Yeah, it was very... and so, yeah, it's if it's your first time going to, like, therapy, it can be really scary because it's, like, really daunting to, like, explain everything, and then to have somebody, like, potentially not listen to you very well, which goes back to, like, I think every therapist needs to take, like, RBTL. But my second therapist, I, like, really love. Like, dude, this woman listens. Like, I've never before, I think before chatting with this therapist, like, gone somewhere and just, like, maybe on some occasions, but, like, literally, like, fell apart, and then just, like, trusted this person to, like, pick up the pieces, you know? And, like, that's no, that's what I'm saying, but like it was scary to get there. Like, I kind of, like, because I was going through my breakup with my ex business partner, then my breakup with my ex romantic partner, so she's seen me through, like, all the whole thing. and like all the emotions and all of that. And so, but the thing that I really loved about this specific therapist is because she is so good at listening, and you could tell she's like writing notes. Because she also has ADHD, so like she told me like I write a lot of notes because I want to make sure that I'm like listening to exactly what you're saying and like all that, and like I really appreciated that effort. So I think I got really spoiled having her as my therapist. And I don't think I knew how good I had it until like I left working with her, because I was at a point in my therapy where I was like, you know, I think I finished the chapters I needed to with her, just kind of like you, where you're just like, oh, it's time to transition. And now I'm looking to like kind of unpack my own like Asian American experience, like what does this mean for me, like my relationship with my parents, which I think was harder for this therapist to like get because she's white, and so like there's no way that she would really understand the like child of immigrants like experience. So I decided to find an Asian therapist, and let me just say this, just because you're Asian does not mean that you actually know how to skillfully listen. Like just because somebody is Asian doesn't mean that they can like adequately like talk and listen and relate with you like skillfully. So
Yes.
So I say this because this is also really important, like because I think about social media. Just because somebody's Asian doesn't mean necessarily that they're in touch with their Asian experience either.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so like I think it's important to like just be objective when you are going into these experiences. So with this therapist, like I think I do like feel more seen in my Asian ness. But I think that like it's so hard because when you're in RBTL, like you learn all these skills. You can see what's happening in conversation, and like I could tell from the very beginning that this person was not a very good like listener. There was barely any like mirroring of like what I was experiencing when they mirrored, like, or when she mirrored.
Wait, let's clarify what mirroring means.
So it's just like kind of reflecting back like themes that you're hearing from what the other person is saying.
So when
Right.
Steph's always saying like what I'm hearing is, that's what mirroring
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So when I go into sessions with her, her mirroring is not landing for me. It doesn't actually touch the exact theme or like topic that I'm
It's not a
sharing.
mirror, it's a glass.
It's just not working. Yeah, it really do. I really see the other side. It's not working. Yeah, I like it. It's just like I'm not seeing myself. I'm just seeing through. Like it is just not working. So she like the mirroring's not landing. Like when she's saying it, she doesn't say it with confidence. Like I don't even think I'm looking for confidence. I'm just looking for like what are you fucking seeing? Mm-hmm. And so the thing about me, like you, I'm super self-aware as well. So what I started doing in therapy as a survival mechanism is just like I'm just gonna therapy myself. Like so like bitch goes in and I'm just like
It's a fly on the wall.
I literally go in and I like talk in circles until I come to my own conclusion. And that's how I've been using therapy the last like 6 months, which is like not a healthy way of using like therapy, but I've been like avoidant of like because I'm scared of like her like not like every time she says something I'm just like yeah like not quite but like this like you know, so I have to like say that like
Yeah.
it's not like exactly what she's saying or like and more often than not like it's a no, right? And so I'm just like okay, so are you really listening to me? Because if you were listening to me like literally like talking with you and talking with Norman and talking with Kato feels much better than talking with my therapist. You know, and like it goes to show that like I think like I do believe in her expertise. I do think that there are things that only she has access to that like that we don't, because we're not like, you know, trained professionals in, you know, more therapy related things. But I think in terms of skills, like I think she's falling short. And it's disappointing because I think I have had experiences with friends who are therapists themselves that is invalidating, and experiences where I'm just like, wow, like you could really listen better, you know. And so it's I think disappointing to know that like this is one experience of mine. It just makes me like like nervous about like how is everyone else experiencing things, because like I mean that's 2 out of 3 already that I feel invalidated by, right? So it's kind of tough, I think, to be in a place where we we teach these skills and we do our best to embody these skills, right? And then you go in and you're just like seeing what's happening in conversation and able to identify like, oh, that didn't work, like you didn't ask a question, like you did, like there's so many things you could have done in that moment, and like you didn't do that for me. And so I think it's been challenging, I think, to work with her. And this last experience in therapy that I had, for the first time I was just like, somebody else take the wheel. I'm just going to like, I'm gonna show up and like be angry and mad and like let you know that it's not landing, which I did. And so like during the session, towards the end of the session, like she like invalidated my experience, because there's something that happened that I was really upset about. And then she's like, oh, like what if this isn't like true? And I was just like, dude, like this just that's not, I literally just told you that I struggle with like believing in my own experiences. So for you to ask that literally makes zero sense. Like you could have validated that, then we can get to a point where we can explore other perspectives. But like you didn't validate it. And so when you don't validate it, you have to understand like a person who is vulnerable with you is not going to feel safe in that space, so it was tough. And then towards the end I was like, you know what, I'm not going to try to like power through this, and I'm not going to try to like therapy my way out of this like as a solution. I'm just going to sit here and be in the anger and frustration that I'm feeling towards my therapist right now. And she's like, and I just like let it be silent. I'm never silent in therapy because like I'm afraid of the silence, so I just go like in circles until I like talk myself into something. So it's the first time where I'm just like, I'm gonna just sit there and just wait. And I waited and I waited, and then she asked me what's coming up, and I was like, I don't know what I was supposed to get out of this therapy session, but it's not feeling very supportive.
It ain't this?
Yeah, basically.
This ain't it.
Yeah, I was like, that's exactly what I was feeling. So I was just like, what the, like, this, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be getting. And then like towards the end, and then this is the first time I didn't keep time either. I was telling you, right? I didn't keep time. We went overtime. And then I was just like, wow, like this is an interesting experience to like be in the messiness, I think, of the experience, to like actually be true to what I was feeling actually directly towards my therapist. I think when we're in therapy, a lot of us don't understand also, or like we, or I don't want to say we, subject clarity. My experience is like, I also like, I have a relationship with this person and I want to feel safe with this person. And there's like dynamics you have to kind of engage with, like with this person too. And I think it feels like disappointing to feel like, okay, I don't know if I can trust my therapist to like actually hold space for me, to help me get to like a conclusion. And she knew she fucked up because she was just like, okay, well, do you want to do a session next week? I feel like we weren't able to get to where you wanted to be. And I was like, okay, like at least I see her getting that. So we're gonna try again and see what happens. So yeah, that's my experience. Like
she's gonna take it back to her therapist.
Yeah.
Which I mean I believe in therapists. Having
no, 100% they do.
Poor girl.
Yeah, she's probably just like, dude, step. The girl step that like just talks her way through everything. Like, dude, she got big mad during her session, dude. That's probably what she's saying.
Oh man, dude, when you said like you like basically therapy yourself through the therapy and like you circle around the final solution yourself, that's what I do before therapy. Like I have, the shower is like really where it's at for me. That's where I have like business meetings with myself. That's where I have arguments and fights, like, and that's also where I have my own therapy sessions. And like I just go through it all in there, and then I show up to therapy like already. That's what's frustrating about me and the therapist, is that like I already have a solution in mind. Let me just get there and then we can talk about it. But the problem is that my therapist interrupts me. But I think the theme here is it's okay to speak up to our therapists and let them know if something isn't landing. Therapists and the way that they might go about things aren't always like, I don't think it's right or wrong, but it's like it's not always what we are needing.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited. I'm about to introduce a new character to this podcast. I'm so excited for Michelle to become a therapist.
Oh, yes. Yes.
New character! Who's Michelle?
We should intro everyone.
I'm like thinking of like Super Smash Brothers right now. It's like you don't see her face and it's just a red question mark. New character!
Dude. God, I'm so sad because you can't do therapy with, like, they have a policy they can't like take people that they're friends with, but I was just like, whoever gets her as a therapist is so fucking lucky. Like, I'm ready to like just like refer all my friends to her.
I'm about to
like,
become like not friends with her.
Yes.
I'm gonna unfriend her, unfollow her, erase her phone number. I'll even change my name. You know, when you're Catholic and like you wanna go into like I don't know if anybody watching is actually Catholic because all of y'all on your like star shit. But like when you're Catholic and you go to like do your confessions and like you go see the priest and it's like blocked. Say there's like a screen here.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably know that it's me because of my voice, but there's a screen here.
Like
and
the
I
confessions.
confessions,
right?
yeah. Like, what did I say?
Oh, maybe I missed it for a
Confessions.
second. Yeah.
Isn't that what I said? Anyways.
You can check when you edit.
There's a screen here and I just tell you shit even though you probably know it's me. I should just throw up a screen. And then call Michelle.
That's so
She
funny.
knows it's me, but she can't see me. So you can't
So
say
it's
that
not
it's
you.
me. It's
How
not
would you
Jiggy.
confirm? That's such an interesting concept. Speak
So,
over the window.
if anybody at BetterHelp is watching, highly consider bringing RBTL into your company. And I say only BetterHelp because I don't know like any other company names out there.
Yeah.
Or whatever practice you may have. Bring in RBTL. This entire podcast, I hope you realize, is an advertisement for RBTL.
Apps are due
But-
next Tuesday. Fly now.
But my intention for this podcast isn't that... Okay, I have to tell you something.
What?
Okay, so you and I had a conversation a few months ago about how I... Do I want to tell you this on the podcast? You know how I said...
To think about it? What? I couldn't. Bitch, you know I can't hear well.
I'm gonna cut this part out. I'm just gonna beep it out. You know how I said...
Yeah.
I think it's changing. Yeah.
Wait, really? This could make me cry.
Why?
Cause I was really. Wait, really, bitch? You don't know, me and Norman were like so sad. Cause I had to be like, dude, like, yeah, she might.
Did you not see... But is... Wait. But wouldn't your heart be ever ready to...
But of course, we're gonna feel fucking sad. What do you mean?
Okay.
What
I
the
don't know.
fuck?
I get surprised when people like get sad about...
What the fuck?
But yeah, no, I think that I want to... Until further notice. My intention for... I'm just gonna say it. So I told her a few months ago that by next year I want to discontinue being a facilitator for RBTL because I'm still in my purpose and I just really want to blow up. I just see a lot of power in the program and the influence that it has, and to me it's not just me being a facilitator for a relational intelligence program. Like, I think I see just so much bigger than that, and I'm sure maybe every facilitators have different reason why they do what they do, but like for me, with my purpose and wanting to, like vulnerability is always the main topic that I talk about, or like compassion and storytelling. Like I'm a speaker for, like of course I want other people to speak their stories as well, and like to create relationships. And then I'm really on one with parents right now, and like relationships with parents, and a lot of the clients that we have are wanting to create deeper relationships with their parents or like friends, or having a greater influence, and deep meaningful relationships. And like that's like my biggest thing right now. And I've been saying in like the past episodes where I was like, what I learned from my dad passing away is like really about the relationships at the end of the day. And I'm seeing that like conversations that we have is one of the most influential and powerful things that you can do to create relationships. I don't actually know what the fuck else people can do to do that. I can't think of anything. If there is other experiences, let me know. But I think that conversations is one of the most powerful, biggest, most important experiences in order to create deeper, meaningful relationships. Like conversations is where conflicts can be resolved. It's where trauma can be healed. It's where vulnerability is dope. It's where you can have, further understanding of your parents. It's where you can deepen relationships even romantically with your kids. Like how you teach your kids anything you want to teach them. How your kids can feel comfortable to talk to you. Like, is it just me, or is like RBTL actually the solution to everything?
I believe that.
So
I really believe that. I think that's why we're all here. Like I think the whole team can't speak for the whole team, but like I wouldn't be surprised if people felt strongly about that.
Yeah. And also I just feel good being a facilitator. Like people love me, and I'm like, wow, people like RBTL's really helped me with embracing like who I am, because I would always be like, man, these like, not talking about like RBTL clients or anything, but I just never knew that people would enjoy me talking or me having with my energy aside from being a speaker. Because it's like when a client says, I want Jiggy as my facilitator, it hits different. When they're I want to work on my confidence and my directness, and I want somebody who is cutthroat, no bullshit. And I used to think like, oh, these soft ass West Coast people, like they can't handle this. And I used to want to, like when I first started as a facilitator, I used to want to like tone down, and I used to want to be just like Kato, where it's just like very gentle and nurturing, which I am. I have a lot of balance of all things, but I have a lot of like no bullshitness, and I thought that it would be too much. But I've also learned to like balance those things and meet the people where they're at, and like be gentle, and if they're ready to be pushed, then I do. And I've really, developed in my own confidence in myself as a facilitator. So like I don't really like Kato inspires me. I keep saying Kato because we're co-facilitators, we facilitate together. And like he is great in his own brilliance. And I used to want to be just like him so much. But throughout time, I'm seeing my own power and my own brilliance, and us together equals something fucking amazing. And I'm realizing that it's because we are uniquely our own. If we were exactly the same, I don't know if the sessions will be as fire as they are. But yeah. So I would love to, I really just like, I'm in this shit and I believe in it. So I'm not saying that I'm neglecting my own speaking shit, because I'm gonna blow up on my own too. Both and all. But yeah, I would really like to embrace RBTL as like, it's so weird because, oh my god, this episode's going everywhere. But it's so weird because like I have my own business, and like RBTL is technically Steph's, but like I think it's okay to embrace RBTL as my own baby too. It's like if you were to have a, oh my god, I'm like an aunt. Like if you were to have, if you really are a baby, I'm gonna take care of the baby as my own. Like what the fuck? So like I'm gonna go hard for the baby. What the fuck am I talking about? Of course I'm gonna embrace it as my own. Why is it always? Yo,
A business
I am
ant.
vibes. Bitch, add that to my description, bitch.
Titi me preguntó si tengo muchas novias.
Fuck yeah.
That deserves like 5 of these.
I will babysit the shit out of RBTL. You can't be there, I'll be there. I've been there.
Yeah, you really have. I'm feeling so happy right now.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Like, RBTL was the only thing I did every time I was in Korea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm down for this shit.
You really are.
I really be down.
I would be telling her like, hey, like, you know, I can sub in like if you need time and stuff. She's like, I'm there. I was like, okay. As long as you feel good about that, you enjoy it. Like, I feel like I'm just so happy because I feel like Norman and I did our job as, like the people like leading this stuff. If you as a facilitator, like you as not even as a facilitator, but as a person, see your own brilliance. Because I feel like between me and Norman, we're always just like, with facilitators, it's not about being somebody that you're not. Like, I feel like the closer you are to yourself, the closer to home you feel, that's when we know we did our job. And so when you say that, you feel more confident, like you're like really seeing your own brilliance, I'm just like, oh my god, that's like all we ever like want for like every single person. Yeah.
You know how this happened? You know when Norman and Steph started RBTL, they were like, you could tell, they were like so intentional, and like a must is to celebrate the magic of everything and everyone.
Yeah.
So like if a facilitator, whatever like little thing that Kato and I did really well, they would like blow it up and be like, that was like blah blah, that was, oh my god, like your magic, your brilliance, your power, like blah 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 blah. Like for 2 years. It's been 2 years of consistent celebration. You know, when we're done with the cohort, all we do is celebrate each person.
Yeah.
All we do, that's it. The confidence workshop, what the fuck to celebrate? The fuck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We really have the answer to everything.
You really do.
When did we start? Is this podcast?
I
Wait,
think
how
it's
long
over
is this
an hour.
podcast?
Do we?
Where's the duration at?
I think it's.
I don't see it.
I think. Oh no, an hour and. 9
Okay.
minutes. Okay.
That's below average, actually.
I think the other thing we were gonna chat about was like standards that we have. I think it's like standards that we had for therapists and like coaches and stuff, and also standards that we have for our own like clientele.
So this is gonna have part 2 because we have to record again in 2 days.
Yeah, we should just record it on Thursday. So this is part
our
1.
first part 1.
Wow.
Part 2 episode.
Who are we?
Oh my god.
Oh.
If you like the last episode, give a thumbs up and write #fumble in the comments. You didn't watch the last episode, did you?
I haven't yet, but I remember that exact
It's
moment.
fucking funny. It's pretty funny. Anything else about therapy?
I just want people who are listening to not feel alone in their process of like navigating like therapy, right?
It's
like
complex.
it's very real to experience these like bumps in the road. Like I think it's important to normalize it actually, like so that way people don't have this expectation that's going to like always go well, and that way we're not devastated like when it happens too, but also I want people to feel empowered to like ask for what they need, because it's your therapy session, like you're covering it, or like whoever your provider is, and I think it's important to like get what you need from that, so you can support yourself. Is there anything else you want to add to it?
Yeah, that this podcast is so dope.
I really
talks
do love
about personal
really do love
development,
our podcast.
professional development, character building, core values and integrity, business, entrepreneurship, health, mental health,
communication,
now therapy.
relationship.
What the fuck can't we talk about? We're gonna change the world. We're gonna win a Nobel Prize. This podcast
is lit. I would listen to it. Arlen voice messaged me the other day.
Okay. My question is, why does everybody keep going to her? Why can't you message me?
Oh, I don't know. Me and Arlen have been friends since college.
I don't care. I'm in this podcast too. Why can't you message the both of us?
But he texted me and just said like, hey, I've been listening. I think because I couldn't really hear it that well. But he said he's been listening in the car, like, and he listens at work and stuff. He says it's been really fun. He's really enjoying it.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. So what we're gonna start doing actually, shout outs to Rosalie. Rosalie from episode
Rosalie.
3? Or
We're gonna
3,
put a little
I think it's
photo of
3 or
her.
4. We have this idea that for all of your takeaways, reflections, whatever it is, maybe how you're taking it upon your own life or whatever you would like to like. If you have any thoughts to add to the episode or reflect and take away whatever it is, that we're gonna do a video ask submission. So if you feel comfortable like sharing your voice or showing your face to just like share with us your takeaways, I think it lands really powerfully than just like Steph getting a text and then screenshotting it, posting it, and tagging me in it. We would love to like hear from you and just like share your reflections with everybody, because I think that, you know, you're never alone in your journey. Other people could be having the same takeaways too. We would love to like build this community, and whatever our circle's name is, we should come up with like a name.
We said Stiggy.
I forgot that you said that, and I'm like traumatized that you brought that back. I think I forgot on purpose.
Hashtag Stiggy.
Or like,
I can't get over
or like Jeff. My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Bitch.
We
I
want
don't want that to be the name. Leave the branding to me. The one thing I am good at.
Okay. Well, we don't know.
Maybe that could be one of the comments too. Like, what do you think that our community
Hashtags.
name should be?
Okay, we can add that in too.
Last thing I want to add. Steph has something magical to show us. She found an app that shows you how your plants are doing.
Yeah, Kato showed me yesterday because I was
Okay,
looking.
show us.
It's I don't have it on my phone. He had it on his because he was checking on his phone. But there's an app that because honestly he noticed my plants were like
Dying.
kind of sad.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why
Is
I
it?
moved. That's why I moved that plant to the window. Because it needs more light.
Oh.
Yeah. So what you could do is you can like take a photo of your plant. They'll tell you how healthy it is, and then you can take pictures of the light, and it'll tell you like whether you need better light. And it'll tell you how to care for your plant based on how it looks. Yeah, it's freaking crazy.
Plants, taking care of plants is like so symbolic. My friend Sarah, you care. Sarah. Man, that girl has a jungle in her apartment. Like, holy shit. It's like a forest in there. But I swear I heard birds singing in there. She was like explaining to me what the process of nurturing for plants is like, and it's truly like she was saying how she's learning so much about how to nurture herself and take care of herself through taking care of plants. And this is why I don't want plants, because like I need to take care of myself first. I don't need to be all of my plant friends out here, which is like 90%, they love stars and plants. I am neither, but they need to like, they can't take long vacations because they have to get back to their plants. And I'm like, what is this, a pet? But truly, like, it's so symbolic. Why can't we have an app that's
You need to bleep this all out. This is your $1 billion idea.
Oh shit!
Don't say it.
Damn! You're right. I'm gonna bleep
That's
this all
kind of
out.
fun. That's kind of fun.
Dude,
like,
wouldn't that be? But that's also kind of creepy because that sounds like iRobot shit.
I
Creepy.
definitely have daddy issues, so. And with that, we're gonna end the podcast.
It's okay.
Was
I
that
have
considered-
mommy issues.
Is
so.
that considered a shitter run?
Yeah. Just zoom in, playback, zoom in on my face I made when you said you had daddy issues.
I definitely have daddy issues, so. Yeah. Okay, well, and with like, I realized that I'm not taking care of my plants, which is a reflection of how much I'm not taking care of myself. So like, that's why I'm doing that.
Excited for Kehlani. I swear to God, yo, I'll be seeing these videos and her girlfriend keeps showing up. I'm like, fuck around and find out if her girlfriend ends up on stage. I will take my shoe off and throw it on stage.
We should don't do that.
Why are they together? As much as I want to be happy, I think a lot of the gay community can agree with this because it's on TikTok and I've been looking at the comment section. There's this video where somebody's like really petty and salty about a video that Kehlani recently posted, and it's like her girlfriend sucking on her neck. And all of us are like, you can take it down now. Like, we get it. You're in love. You're happy. We get it. Like, you can take it down now.
Okay, I saw it. You can delete that now. Haha, very funny. You was trying to piss me off. It worked. I'm fucking mad. You can fucking delete it.
And the comment section is like, I'm trying so hard to be happy for her, but I'm just petty. I want her gone. Like, yeah. I'm not alone in this.
Well, I'm glad that you're making space for all the feelings.
Kehlani, if you're watching this, I'm really happy. I am happy that you found love that's not toxic. I really am happy for you. I'm really happy for you that you're healed. I'm really happy for you that, like, you know, Danny loves your daughter. Like, I'm really happy for you. And my emotions are valid. I'm allowed to be frustrated.
Mm-hmm. I hear how much you love Kehlani. That's what I'm hearing. Did I just...
Okay, let's end the podcast. Bye.